Let me know when you're ready.
Oh.
Tales from the bedroom. Up. It was a beautiful fall morning. The birds were chirping as leaves fell over so gracefully to the ground from the trees above. There was a slight breeze flowing through the air as Turnip walked briskly into the airport. I can't believe it. After all this time, I finally get to meet them. With a pep in his step, Turnip passed in his ticket and proceeded to board the plane. 8 long hours pass, and the plane finally lands on a small island off the coast of Ireland. After retrieving his luggage and departed from the airport, he hailed a cab and was taken to a small inn by the name of Fiery Vixen's Bed and Breakfast. After throwing the cabbie a couple of bucks, Turnip grabbed his bags and stood in front of the B&B and took a deep breath. Here we go, he whispered, walking towards the front door. As he approached the front steps, the door swung open and a woman's voice bellowed out of the doorway. Turnip! Vixen jumped out and latched herself to Turnip. It's so great to finally meet you, Vixen said, releasing Turnip from her clutches. I know! I can't believe you actually own a B&B, Turnip exclaimed as they walked to the front desk. Fallen popped up from behind the computer with a big grin on his face. Turnip! Fallen! Your room is upstairs. Third door on the left. Everyone should be here in about an hour or so. Go unpack, and dinner will be served at 6 o'clock sharp, Vixen said, sending Turnip on his way. Oh, Vixen proclaimed. And there's a, present for you in your room, she said, winking. Confused, Turnip proceeded up the stairs and opened the third door on the left. He swung the door open, and to his surprise, Reaver was sprawled out on the bed and jumped up as he saw Turnip enter. Oh dear! Turnip yelled as Reaver jumped into his arms. Turnip kicked the door shut behind him, chuckling softly. Chapter 2. Dinner and Dessert.
Oh.
The sound of a bell rung throughout the inn, signaling to everyone that dinner was ready. As everyone poured into the large dining room, shouting and laughing, Vixen called attention to everyone and had them take their seats. Guys, we did it. We actually fucking did it. Who would have guessed that clicking on a random server in a video game would lead to all of us sitting here eating dinner together? Your meals are coming out now, so enjoy. She sat down and a few waitresses entered the room with platters full of food. After everyone was served, Fallen told the waitresses to go home. He then held up a glass of champagne. Yes. Fallen held up a glass of champagne and announced, I would like to make a toast. Butter mine, please! Hawkeye shouted as Jakai smacked him in the back of the head. Shut the fuck up, Hawkeye. Phantom's eyes couldn't decide who they wanted to stare at more, Trombley or Hawkeye. Yogurt secretly rubbed Turnip's leg as Devox and Spooky tried to hold in their lust for each other. I just want to say how grateful I am to have met you all. You have changed my life, and I just want to say thank you for coming up here and staying in our beautiful bed and breakfast with us. To us, Fallen said, lifting up his glass. To us, everyone chanted. To me, Devox said, causing everyone to glare at him. Shut the fuck up, Devox, you fucking cucumber, Turnip yelled. The crew threw back the champagne and plowed into their meals. After the supper ended, Fiery stood up and said, well, you fuckers enjoy your night. I gotta teach my man what's what. And she grabbed Fallen by the wrist and whisked him up the stairs to the bedroom. Everyone was silent a moment, as if wanting to hear the same thing. Oh god, it's so huge! Fallen screeched, echoed throughout the inn. No. Everyone burst into laughter. After a few more seconds of awkward silence, Jakai jumped out of a chair. Really? Must you two start this near me? Jakai screamed as Trombley and Phantom undressed under the table in a pile of reproductive organs as a plume of must engulfed the dining room. Dog pile, shouted Hawkeye as he tore off his clothes and dove as gracefully as an Olympic diver into the passionate scene Trombley and Phantom have created. Testosterone and hormones took over the dining hall. The Vox and Spooky ripped each other's clothes off in an instant and proceeded to slam each other with great force into the walls, pinballing all the way up to the bedrooms. Jakai sat in horror as raging hormones continued to engulf everyone. She glanced at the horrors before her. Turning to Turnip, she prayed that all hope was not lost. She couldn't be more wrong. As she peered over the table, she watched as Reaver and Turnip left Yogurt gasping for air, trying to claw his way to safety for just a second, only to be pulled back in. Where do you think you're going? Turnip growled as he grabbed Reaver and pulled him back into the puddle of mixed juices. She darted for the door to escape the smell and sounds, but Fombly rolled past her like a large tumbleweed, causing her to dodge them and run into the kitchen. After she finally made her way up to the room, she could hear Yogurt's shrieks of mercy and tried so hard to block it all out. She opened the door to her room, only to be greeted by Devox, spread eagle on her bed with Spooky locked in between his knees. She slammed the door shut behind her and opened the next door closest to her, only to be greeted by Fallen thrusting at the speed of light, destroying Vixen's dark, damp lady crevice. Jakai! Vixen shouted as Jakai closed the door as fast as she could and admitted defeat. She fell to her knees and proclaimed, "Why did everyone have to break out in a fit of sex and beauty and leave me here all alone?" Just as she finished her sentence, the window to her right shattered as a mysterious naked woman flew in and wrapped her legs around Jakai's face. Jakai muffled as she began pleasing her wife unlike she has ever done before. The sounds and smells irradiated from the house. Just then, poor 560 and Riften heard and smelled everything just as they arrived. They decided it was best not to figure out what was going on. They decided to go home and live the rest of their lives. Chapter 3.
Wait, one second. You're paying for that fucking window, Jakai.
All right. Chapter 3. 3 days later.
Oh my.
What the fuck happened? Questioned the groggy hockey. As he stood up in the cum-stained dining hall, he noticed Yogurt huddled in the corner with tears and sperm in his eyes. Never have I witnessed something as beautiful as that, he repeated to himself over and over again. After everyone finally returned to reality, they all said their goodbyes and started leaving one by one. Vixen and Fallen wished everyone a safe trip home and headed back into the inn to clean and rebuild.
Rebuilt. Oh my god, that was destructive sex.
After finally getting off the plane, Turnip exited the airport and returned home. He swung open the door to his apartment. He looked around his apartment with a look of confusion dawned on his face. Rose petals covered the floor. A large arrow pointed to his bedroom with the words, "Come on in, big boy," written on it. Turnip dropped his bags and hurried to the door. He kicked the door open and saw Reaver sprawled out on his bed in quite the position. "We have some unfinished business, hot stuff," remarked Reaver. Turnip started to undress and leaped onto the bed. The rest, my friends, is history. The end. Thank you. That's it.
I'm gonna go drink some bleach now.